Welcome to Bluff Creek Podcast Radio. I am Jack.
I am Carabelle.
And today's special guest is
Barbara Olson.
Thank you for joining us today.
So you work at the animal shelter?
I volunteer at the animal
volunteer?
shelter. The Golden Valley Humane Society.
Okay.
How long have you been volunteering there?
Oh my goodness, I think I've been volunteering there for about 20 years, a long time.
Wow.
So you've probably had pets, haven't you?
Oh yes, I've had lots of pets. Many pets throughout my life. I have 3 pets now.
Wow.
What are they?
I have 3 dogs, and they're all rescue dogs. So these are all dogs that I got either from a shelter or from a sanctuary. So I have a standard poodle, Enzo. I have a little Shih Tzu, and her name is Dolly. And I have a little terrier mix, and her name is Betty.
Okay. Where did you go to school?
I went to school in North Dakota, and I went all the way through school there and graduated from the University of North Dakota.
What things did you learn in college or something about the animal shelter?
Well, I didn't learn anything about the animal shelters when I was in college. I actually studied education, and so I was a teacher. What I've learned from animal shelters mostly is just by volunteering. I kind of went into it not knowing much of anything about it until I went through their training program in Golden Valley, and that's where I learned a lot about it and learned that I loved it.
Okay, what was your favorite subject when you were in school?
Ooh, my favorite subject in school. I think English. I liked English.
And did you have a favorite teacher?
Yes, I did. I had a favorite teacher, and his name was Mr. Hullinger, and he was a teacher that I had in 8th grade. And I even went back when I was in college, and he helped me with a project that I was doing. And so, yeah, he was my very favorite teacher.
Okay, what kind of jobs have you had besides just doing the volunteering? What have you done for a job?
Well, I did teach school, but just for a year because I got married and my husband was in the Army, and we moved to Germany. Mm-hmm. And then I had 3 kids, so I stayed at home with my kids. But then I went back to school, and I became a counselor, a drug and alcohol counselor in junior high and high school.
Do you have any kids?
I have 3 kids. I have 2 daughters and a son.
Do you have any grandchildren?
I have 6 grandchildren, one of whom is your age.
Oh, cool. Where is your favorite vacationing spot?
Would be Tucson, Arizona. We go there every winter and spend about 4 months there.
Okay.
What do you do at the animal shelter?
That's a good question. There are lots of different things you can do there when you volunteer. I walk the dogs. We take the dogs out and exercise them. We help clean the kennels if they get dirty before people come in, because we want everything to look clean and smell good. We also work with dogs. Some dogs come in that are very, very afraid, very fearful. And so they're put on a special program, and we take time to work with those animals to help calm them, to take some of that fear away, and so that makes them more adoptable. So we'll spend extra time doing that.
Okay. What would you rather have, a cat or a dog for a pet?
Well, I would rather have dogs, but I think I told you if I couldn't have a dog, I would have a cat.
Yeah. Okay. And what is your favorite animal?
My favorite animal, oh my goodness, I have so many animals I love to read about and learn about, but I guess I would have to say dogs, because those are the ones that are in my family and in my life the most. We've had a horse at one time, we've had bunnies, we've had cats, we've had birds, but I think dogs are my very favorite.
Did you go to a different animal shelter than the one that you volunteer at?
I volunteer at 2 different shelters. I volunteer here at the Golden Valley Shelter. I'm sure a lot of the kids here have gone there to visit the dogs. And then I also volunteer in Tucson at a county shelter, and that's called the Pima County Care Center. And I do about the same things there as we do here, except there we get to take the dogs out and walk them around a park, and that's kind of fun.
Okay.
Can you tell me about the animal shelter or sanctuary at Utah?
Yes, I love that there's a sanctuary in Utah, and it's called Best Friends, and it's the largest no-kill animal sanctuary in the United States, and it's in a beautiful, beautiful area near Bryce Canyon, and they have dogs and cats and pot-bellied pigs and horses and bunnies and birds and everything you can imagine there, and people can go and volunteer there, and you can either stay at the sanctuary or you can stay in this little town that's very close by and drive up to the shelter every day, and you can walk the dogs there, but we also helped clean and feed and spend time with the dogs, and they have them in different areas. They have the old friends, and those are the older dogs. They have the puppies. They have the dogs that are a little special needs, that maybe are a little more difficult to handle.
Yeah.
But it's just a wonderful place.
I have a question. What does no kill mean?
No kill means that all of the animals that are brought there, unless there's a health issue, unless an animal is suffering or has something, that animal will not be put to sleep. And that doesn't mean that they will be adopted out, because some dogs just are not adoptable. They may be aggressive, they may have other issues, but those dogs are kept there and live out their lives there and are well cared for. Now, the Golden Valley Humane Society is not a no-kill. They do their best not to put any dogs to sleep, but occasionally, if there are some real issues and they can't examine them, if they're aggressive, sometimes they have to put them to sleep.
Okay. What vacations that you went to, like other states or countries?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm like a grandma, so I've been a lot of different places. I think maybe when we were very young and we were first married, we lived in Germany, so we traveled a lot there, went to a lot of different places in Europe, and that was fun. And now back here, basically now we just go to Tucson in the winter, and then maybe we'll take another little trip here and there, but we just kind of like going there and spending time.
Like right now, where do you live in the summer in Minnesota?
We live in Chanhassen, over by Lotus Lake, and we live in kind of a little neighborhood. It's kind of a fun little neighborhood, and where there are lots of our neighbors, lots of dogs and cats, and it's just a wonderful place to live.
Okay.
Have you ever traveled anywhere in Asia?
Yes, I have. I haven't been to the Philippines, but I have been to Hong Kong, and I've been to Korea, South Korea, and a little bit into China. Not very far, but a little bit.
Our last and final question. What is your favorite kind of dog?
My favorite kind of dog, I think right now I would have to say my favorite kind of dog is a standard poodle.
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much for joining us today. Today's podcast radio was brought to you by Bluff Creek Podcast Radio, encouraging you to connect with someone new today.